What's up, everybody? Welcome back to No Faking Sports. I'm your host, David Kincaid, and I want to do something a little different this time. I'm going to go through and give my live reaction to the college football playoff top 25 rankings. It just got released, so just to give you guys some different content, man. I hope you enjoy it. Drop down in the comments. Tell me where you guys are watching from and who's your team. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I hope everyone has family that they can fellowship with and spend with the holidays, man. I truly do. And always keep in your prayers and for the people that are less fortunate that will not get to enjoy this with their family. All right. Now we got that done. Let's do it.
See them when you do.
Top 25, guys.
Rankings brought to you by
All right, Colorado. I love Coach Prime, man. As a football coach myself, I love Coach Prime. I love everything that he does, the discipline. If you guys been watching my channel, you know that I've played football my entire life. I was also in the military for 22 years. I love the discipline that he instills in his guys. Discipline is one of those things that's a little harder to control nowadays because everybody is, especially athletes. It's not that it changed so much, but they're a little more showy now, and it's okay. It's just where it is, where we are in college football today with the players getting paid and getting money and stuff like that. So it is what it is. But Coach Prime is doing a job down there. Y'all got to remember, 2 years ago, this was a one-win team. Colorado was the laughing stock of college football, and now don't nobody want to play them. With all those wide receivers down there, having Travis Hunter, Shedeur spreading the ball out to everybody, Wester, Jimmy Horn Jr., like, Colorado is tough, bro. You don't want to see Colorado. Yeah, they just lost to Kansas. They're still an 8-3 football team. You know who else is 8-3? Alabama. Let that sink in. Colorado is on the same plane with Alabama. And if Alabama played Colorado today, Colorado will probably win. Still has work to do, and he's going to continue to do work. One of the good things that he's doing is he's bringing former NFL players around his guys. If you ain't going to listen to Warren Sapp as a defensive lineman, who you going to listen to? If you don't want to be coached by a Hall of Famer, then don't come here. If you don't want to have multiple NFL Hall of Famers on your coaching staff, then don't come here. I need some of them on my staff at the University of Oklahoma.
Capital One, Colorado, after its loss to Kansas, down 9 spots.
Shout out Coach Prime.
At 24. That could help some of the Big 12
Kansas
teams.
State.
Too, could Kansas State.
8-3. There's your Big 12 right there.
In terms of wins,
I kind of wish Oklahoma was still in the Big 12, to be honest with you. I would love to have seen Oklahoma play Colorado this year.
Big 12 teams getting into
That's not a game I would have missed.
Illinois, after a miraculous win and an error in judgment to try to.
Shout out to Illinois, man. Illinois started the season on fire, playing well. Illinois has kind of been a fun team to watch this year. I don't know if y'all have watched Illinois games, but usually Illinois is kind of boring. Usually Illini football is boring. They actually look good this year. Enjoy watching.
To freeze the kicker from Greg Schiano of Rutgers, and Illinois somehow won. They moved up a couple of spots.
Yep.
Good weekend for Brett Bielema and the fellas. 22. UNLV.
UNLV, go offense.
The Mountain West.
Oklahoma Sooner fans, do you guys want the go offense in Oklahoma? I don't. I want to run the football. I want to power run the football. I don't the gimmick and the go and all that stuff. But UNLV is 9-2. You can't deny the outcomes of the games. With them being 9-2, you can't deny what they're doing. I wish we had that offense this year. I tell you that. With that offense and our defense, we'd probably be undefeated this year, even with all our injuries. Offense. Is it coming to Norman, Oklahoma? Anything but the spread. I'm ready to get rid of that.
For the Mountain West Championship at 21,
Missouri.
Eli Drinkwitz's team.
I don't. Missouri at the beginning of the year in one of my videos, I listed my flawed teams on the season. Was Missouri, LSU was two of the flawed teams that I had for the season, and I still think Missouri is flawed. They should have lost to Oklahoma, but shoulda, woulda, coulda. They got the job done. They got the W. I just don't think they're a very good team. They're definitely not a playoff team. I think that they're ranked a little high. I think if they play Colorado on a neutral field, they would lose to Colorado. I think Colorado is better than a lot of these teams that's ahead of them. And that's not just being a homer for Coach Prime.
With 8 wins and still in the top 25.
Well, let's go.
To 20.
Committee did their thing.
Texas A&M, after the 4 overtime loss to Auburn, they fall 5 spots.
And don't pay attention to the 3 losses.
Ruger McFarland, don't say don't pay attention to the 3 losses. Texas A&M is another one of those teams. I don't think they sniff Texas. Everybody's building it to be a big game and going back and all that. I don't think they sniff Texas. I think that's another team that if they played Colorado on a neutral field,
Losses
I
because they
would
control
destroy
their
them.
own fate.
It
Beat
would definitely beat
Texas, win the SEC title game. A&M is
they're
in the
not beating
playoffs.
Texas.
But that is the one thing, that's their only path.
Yes,
now,
yes.
almost certainly.
They don't
if
have
they
enough
were to
firepower
lose
to beat Texas.
either to Texas or in the SEC championship game, should they make it, they would probably
BYU,
be
man, it's a scrappy
BYU
team, man.
after that
Undefeated, 2 recent losses. They're still a scrappy team, man. BYU drags you into the mud and makes you play an ugly game. That's what BYU does. They drag you into the mud and they make you play an ugly game. They make you wrestle in the mud. And most people don't want to wrestle in the mud.
wild loss. BYU still in the mix for the Big 12
Shout out to that
championship game.
BYU in that last game. I
Far-fetched
watched
now
that. I
down
watched the
5 spots,
highlights
19,
and caught the
after
ending for
losing to
that, man.
Arizona State at 18. Here's Iowa
There they
State.
are.
Now, Iowa State has a pretty, as clear as it can be in the Big 12. Iowa State has a pretty good shot.
Singing around. That's what Ohio State's doing.
Hanging around. Kids got alligator blood.
Oh, man.
Of making
Iowa
it
State
to
outta here.
The conference championship game. They move up 4 spots, going for their 10th win against Kansas State, ranked versus ranked game. Now Tulane. Tulane will play Army for the championship in the American. Tulane hoping to
Shout out Tulane. Can you say quality
make a
win?
move to be that 5th highest ranked conference champion and make it into the field. Number 16. Got a lot of Big 12 in there in Arizona
State.
Territorial Cup game could give them their 10th win.
I just said I wish we were still in the Big 12. So, and this is going to be the question. Are all of these Big 12 teams, are they any good? Or they just haven't really all beat up on each other and played each other? Because you got a lot of ranked Big 12 teams. Are all the do you guys believe that the SEC teams are better than the Big 12 teams this year? Now, of course, at the top, well, you got Georgia and Texas, yes. But as a whole, as a conference, you look at what the Big 12 is doing, you look at what the SEC is doing. Who do you think is a better conference overall from top to bottom, not just the top teams in the SEC?
That's the most likely matchup, though not the certainty. Arizona State and Iowa State for the Big 12. A lot of different
Oklahoma Sooner fans, if we were still in the Big 12 this year, could we have won the Big 12?
combinations and permutations could change that. At
South Carolina,
15,
another
South
winnable game that we
Carolina
should have
up
won.
3 spots. Huge
Another game we
coming
should have
up
won.
against Clemson. They can't get to the SEC championship game. They can make a bit of an at-large case.
Yeah, they
South
can,
Carolina
and
is a
they
pretty
can
good team.
strengthen some teams' resumes, including Clemson, who is trying to make a late surge.
Defensive line
towards the college
wise, they got
football
some
playoff as a
long, big
possible at-large
bodies.
in the event in which Miami
They got
loses
some
to
offensive
Syracuse. So a lot of
weapons.
things that could happen here with South Carolina improving up to
South
15.
Carolina is a
At
pretty good
14.
team.
Hotty toddy. Ole Miss absolutely squandered a perfect opportunity to get into the field.
That's
with the
coaching,
loss to
man.
Florida, they go down 5 spots to number 14.
That's coaching.
And now they're going to need some upsets in front of them if they're going to make.
Lane Kiffin has he has a propensity to outcoach himself and overcoach himself at times. I say, who is this dude? What the fuck is he talking about? He don't know what he's talking about. Listen, he did the same thing at Alabama, and Nick Saban was screaming his head off. He will get into a game and he will insist on throwing the football every down. I know you think Jackson Dart is a NFL high draft pick, and everybody was so high on Jackson Dart before the season and saying Heisman and all that, and I said, no, stop it. He won't even sniff it. Will Ole Miss be better this year than they have been in the past? Yeah, they will. Not going to beat everybody. That's not who Ole Miss is. That's not who Lane Kiffin is.
Make it into the field.
Well, they were on the inside and Tennessee was on the outside, and we haven't seen Tennessee yet. But when you see Ole Miss drop, guessing that Alabama's going to drop, so it'll be interesting to see where.
All I'm seeing is a bunch of teams that Oklahoma lost to.
Now we haven't seen this yet.
Should have beat
this
them
is
too.
a good spot for Alabama right here at 13. Let's
They
see.
learn how to run the damn football
There
to
they
the
are,
end of the year.
down 6 spots
Bam.
after just getting manhandled by Oklahoma.
Yes, we've had injuries. When we run the football, we had a chance this year, man. I mean, the injuries was the crazy part, but we had a chance this year, man. I'm not gonna make this whole show about Oklahoma, guys.
On the road last
Alabama.
Saturday night.
Alabama's a team that we've seen look like the best team in the country at times. And we've seen games like this against Oklahoma where they couldn't.
Alabama
stop
still
any
punish you,
team.
though.
They couldn't get their offense on track.
Don't get
And
it
they were in
twisted.
position to
They'll
be
still
in this
punish you.
playoff and not make the SEC championship.
Not in a big
Still
game.
be in. Now they put themselves on the outside. And they're going
They'll
to
beat
see
everybody
chaos
that they
to
in
get
front
back
of. I tell you
It
that.
confirms what we already knew. Alabama not out of it, but
They'll beat
by
Ole
no
Miss.
means
They'll
in
beat South
control of their own
Carolina.
destiny. They need some things to happen in front of them. SMU to lose to Cal. They need Tennessee to lose to Vandy.
Alabama,
A
like I
handful of
said
other
at the beginning, guys,
outcomes this
Alabama
weekend
does
to get
not
them
deserve
back
to
in
play
the
for a
driver's
national
seat.
championship.
At number
It just
12.
is what it is.
Clemson up 5 spots. Clemson with only 2 losses, but Clemson doesn't
Clemson
have
trying
a
to sneak
lot
in there.
of
Do y'all keep Cade
quality
Klubnik
wins.
for
Now,
another year?
Clemson's
You're
going
not
to
winning the
get in this mix
championship
for
with
an
Cade
hard.
Klubnik.
They
Who else you
really
got coming in,
have
Clemson
perfect for them
fans?
to make the ACC championship game. But if they could beat South Carolina at home on Saturday, then Dabo Swinney's Tigers, regardless of whether they play for the conference title, have a really good shot.
It's an interesting spot because they have South Carolina. We haven't seen Indiana yet. When we start talking about these teams that don't have a huge win, obviously Indiana's still going to be within the top 11, but Clemson with that kind of game against South Carolina have a chance to make a statement.
Big 12 teams are the notable exception here, but you notice how the committee's done this a lot so far. You stack the 3-loss teams, then you go the 2-loss teams. Let's look at number 11. Here's an
Boise.
exception, but it's a team outside the Power 4. So
It's a
Boise
tough
State
team, man.
leading the Mountain.
Boise State get that run game going, you in trouble. And they're gonna beat you up all game with it. And they're gonna play solid defense.
West, but they're in the field. They're not taking a spot from anyone.
No, and
Ashton
what I think
Jennings.
is also interesting is that the gap has now closed.
Got a
between
running back
Big
winning the
12
Heisman again.
and Boise
Is.
State. So in the event
That boy's
in
so
which the Big
athletic.
12 champion runs
I love that
the way,
build of
whether it's
running back,
Arizona
man.
State over Iowa State, all those teams kind of ranked 15 through 17.
If I was
That's
recruiting,
enough
man, that'd
ammunition
be
to
the build of the
move
running back I'd
a
be
Big
looking
12
for.
champion in front of Boise.
Them little
So
balls of
still,
muscle,
Boise
man.
kind of hovering in that 12-11 area.
Big shoulder, big
And,
neck
you know,
dudes.
Reese, I love the fact with Boise State, Ashton Jeanty going over 2,000 yards. To me, I think they're in good shape. May not get a bye, but they're in good shape to get into the playoff.
They'll have the game at home, the Mountain West Championship game, playing against presumably UNLV. That's not set yet. Indiana, first Big Ten.
Indiana.
Ohio State, I thought for a good portion.
Shout
of
out
the
to
game,
Indiana,
the
man.
part ended up
Doing a hell of a
Ohio State
job.
pulled away from them. They fall down to number 10.
Sam
dropping
McCullough,
5 spots at
are
number
you
9.
upset about because you left Indiana to
Now,
go to
here's a
OU?
mover, SMU.
SMU, the Mustang.
Down. SMU has been a dominant team. They played Virginia last week, and they dominated the game from start to finish. And if I was a team looking out right now, I don't know that the SMU Mustangs is a team I would like to play because
Oh.
they're playing with a ton of confidence.
Well, you know, sometimes
Yes, they are.
a game, and they
Shout out
did
to
against
SMU.
Duke, and since that Duke game, they have been putting the hammer down to people. Number 8. Tennessee Volunteers.
Tennessee,
Very
Nico.
upset when they were the first team out a couple of rankings ago. Now they're sitting there.
Shout out to
ready
Nico,
finish
man.
up with
Nico
that.
doing the job over there.
Outside looking in, a couple of teams losing.
Coming in, taking over the reins. He's going to be that much better next year. Shout out to Josh Heupel, man. Having a hell of a season.
We're not going to pay attention to the column on the right so much. If we think you're a better team, we will seize you higher. That's important to note as we go forward.
They haven't done a lot of that. They've done some of it, and they do it here with Tennessee. And, you know, I think the other thing, too, Georgia, just above them, another two-loss team. Georgia is already in the SEC championship game, awaiting the winner of Texas and Texas.
Yeah, Georgia and Tennessee more than likely beating SMU and Indiana on the neutral field. So I don't have a problem with that. The Bulldogs.
Game on their schedule, some more movement. If you're Tennessee,
Mel Kiper keeps flip-flopping his quarterbacks. He didn't have Shedeur Sanders as number one quarterback leaving in the draft this year. And as soon as Georgia started losing, he started flip-flopping his quarterback. Y'all stop listening to that dude, man. Mel Kiper don't know anything about what he's talking about football. He gets intel and he hears from teams who teams like and stuff like that. And he reports accordingly. He ain't never coached a quarterback on how to throw, none of that.
You look at the strength of schedule, you look at the game control, you look at the moments of greatness and the moments where you're kind of left shaking your head and you think, man, if they could ever put 60 minutes together, look out. That team is extremely dangerous and well positioned. They can take care of business this weekend to get that first round bye.
Miami, man. Shout out to Miami. It's good for college football to have Miami back at the top.
You know, with Cam Ward. Number 5. Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Now, Notre Dame's schedule is so they'll finish up against USC.
The schedule can be
Come on, man. Notre Dame.
When you go into your room and you tell the guys, hey, beat USC.
Notre Dame will be in the playoffs.
You don't have to say anything else.
Depending on who they play, they might lose their first game. Notre Dame's not that good, guys.
You know, there have been so many.
But every year Notre Dame plays this little cookie schedule, and they end up with 1 or 2 losses. Give Notre Dame Oklahoma schedule.
Penn State lost to Ohio State.
Boring football. I'm sorry if you're a Penn State fan, player, or coach. You guys work hard, but that's boring football. There's Texas, horns down. Still horns down.
Number 2 is going to be Ohio State, and number 1 is going to be.
I think Texas will beat Ohio State.
The Big Ten now with 3 of the top 5, and Notre Dame still from the state of Indiana, but not from the Big Ten.
I think Oregon will beat Texas, man.
One of those top 5 spots. So now you look at the rankings on the left. Here's how you put them into the bracket.
Still ain't Gabriel going to win a national championship? Am I going to have to eat crow?
Oregon, Texas, Miami, and Boise State. Now,
Okay, there it is.
We are basing it on the highest ranked teams from these conferences. To get into the quarterfinals, you will have to win your conference championship game. Arizona State, the highest ranked team at the moment from the Big 12. Home games, 5 through 8, would belong to Ohio State, Georgia, Penn State, Notre Dame, not in that order, but you see top to bottom on the bracket. All of those teams would be able to play at home in the first round of the college football playoff.
Ohio State shouldn't get a home game over Arizona State. Arizona State would be, if they won their conference, they would be a conference champion. Ohio State would be a non-conference champion, and they would get a home game. That makes no sense to me, but is what it is. This is the playoff bracket. I think that should be flip-flop. Arizona State should be 5, and Ohio State should be, I guess, what?
Playoff, and then the full bracket would look like this. You would have another Tennessee at Georgia game, which we saw in the regular season. You'd have.
All right, Arizona State, Ohio State. I'm gonna give the edge to Ohio State. Tennessee, Georgia. If that's for Georgia, I give the edge to Georgia. Defense wins at home. Offense plays better. They probably run the football. That is a tough environment for Nico to go into Athens and get that dub in a playoff game. Indiana, Penn State. I'm gonna give the edge to Indiana, man. Penn State football is just boring to me, man. And I think when it comes down to the big games, they will choke. Notre Dame, SMU. I'm gonna go Notre Dame, man. Even though I don't think Notre Dame is that good, I think Notre Dame playing at home, SMU with all those young guys going into that atmosphere, and Notre Dame is still Notre Dame. They still have really good recruits, and Notre Dame will beat up on you if they get you at home. If it was in Dallas, we might have a talk. But in South Bend, Notre Dame gets the job done. Going back up to the top, Ohio State and Boise State. Boise State getting that game at home. If they could run the football and play some defense, man, I could see Ohio State being favored there, but Boise State pulling off the upset. Georgia at Oregon. Defense travels well, but I think Georgia would probably get that job done. No. I think being on the road, their offense probably won't play as well. They haven't been playing outstanding, really great all season. Something's missing up there. But I think them going on the road in Eugene, I think they lose. Then we got Indiana and Miami. That game being in Miami, I'm gonna go with the home team again. Whether it's Penn State or Indiana, I just think that Miami with Cam Ward and all the weapons that they have, this is a battle-tested team. They've almost lost a couple of games. I think they'll be playing at home, first playoff game in a while. Them guys actually being good this year, I think they'll be fired up and ready to go. They'll have all the celebrities in town. Michael Irvin will be there. Warren Sapp will probably show up because it's a playoff game. The squad will be in town, and I think those guys will show up and get the job done. And then it really doesn't matter if it's SMU or Notre Dame. Texas is going to be too much to deal with. It'll be Texas. If we're going back up to the top, having I didn't really give a pick for the Boise State Ohio State game, but I am going to give the edge to Ohio State. I just think that with their defensive line, JT Tuimoloau, and that they'll be able to contain Ashton Jeanty. So I think they'll get the job done there. Between Ohio State and Oregon, I'm going to give the edge to Oregon again. Especially, I'll just give the edge to Oregon again. I just think that they beat them once. I think they can actually do it again, and this time it'll probably be a little more convincing. And then between Miami and Texas, I think Texas gets the job done with their defense plan. I think they'll give Cam Ward fits. One thing that you can do against Miami to have some success is if you have a defensive line and your pass rush is pretty good. Cam Ward can make you pay, but he can also make some mistakes as well. I think Texas takes that. And then if we have a good old Texas-Oregon national championship game, I think Dylan Gabriel has Texas' number, and he gets the job done. And I eat crow because I said Dylan Gabriel was not a national championship quarterback. But would it be fitting if Oregon was winning, Texas was struggling, and then came in the Manning? And the Manning threw 3 touchdowns. And the Manning led them to a national championship.
Of Indiana and Penn State, a Big Ten matchup, but they did not play in the regular season.
There it is. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Drop down in the comment section. Who do you have win the national title? I actually, the way my bracket worked out, I Oregon win the national title. So you guys drop down in the comments. Tell me who's your team, who you got win the national title. And if it's your first time watching my channel, man, hope you guys subscribe. For you that have come back again, I appreciate you. I truly do. My channel has really grown really fast, And it's only because of the viewers. I know that. So even when I get people to drop down in my comments and they say stuff to try to gaslight me or whatever, man, it's all right, bro. You can have your opinion and I can have mine, and we can still get along at the end of the day. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Till next time. Peace.